Hello, everybody. It's still Bear from the Old Bears Den of Bigfoot. I am here with you today. I am in lovely Florida. It's gray, cloudy sky. We're under tornado watches or warnings. I don't know which, but it's Florida. Anyway, I wanted to continue on the 5 years of observing Bigfoot. And what I wanted to talk to you about was that in the first year, I left a few things out. Nobody seemed to ask. But like I was telling you in the first year, it took me 6 months just to gain to where they would let me stay there without trying to run me off. After 6 months, I got to observe them, and in those 6 months, I learned that there is a family unit. At the time, there was 6 of them. There were a couple of small ones, and then 4 full-growns. And they interacted quite a bit with the little ones, especially the big male and the alpha female. Him and her both watched over the kids. He'd done a lot of standing outside or standing up on top of the hill watching, while the other Bigfoot seemed to do other things like go out and forage for food or get water or whatever. And it was a pretty cohesive family unit, and they didn't do a whole lot at that time because they were a small family. And they had 2 young ones they had to provide for. So, you got to do what you got to do to take care of your young. Anyway, starting in year 2, I kind of pushed the envelope a little bit. I would go around the hill and kind of follow along and see what the other ones were doing. And in that time, I found out that those Bigfoot that were there, they were going in times of period when it was dry and the creek below them didn't have much water in it or didn't have very much flow. If it didn't have a lot of flow, they didn't use the creek. I found that out, and they were going up and over the mountainside on the other side of the mountain and bringing water back. Well, I was trying to figure out how they did that, and I noticed that one of them was carrying something that looked like a log, and I think the log was hauled out, and that was how they were carrying water from the other side of the mountain. And I seen it carried all the time, and I think he was the one that was kind of, because he was pretty, he didn't have a lot of big muscle on him, and that Bigfoot seemed to just get water, and that was his job. And I seen one other female there that was there. It wasn't his mate. I think it may have been his sister. But she always went out and got berries and stuff like that, and she would bring them back in her arms. I didn't see her carry any kind of a container, but I'm pretty sure they know it would be easier in a container, but I don't think they had made one. And I didn't get a lot of time that second year to watch them, because I was busy at work a lot at that time. And it was an experience. It was fun to watch them because after the big female kind of accepted me, there wasn't as much of a problem or a headache. They all kind of did what they were supposed to do and did what they had, and that's how things went for about year 2. You just see them go out and get food and go out and gather stuff up and go out and get water and watch over the young. The little ones were growing. They didn't grow a whole lot in that second year. So I would say that they have a growth period of, like us, 18 to 20 years. because I only got to observe them for 5 years, and those little ones that weren't walking were now kind of crawling and on all fours a lot. And they would try to, like typical children, would try to sneak out of that cave, and the big male would always jump down and pick them up and take them back in. When they got too far outside the cave, or the big female was taking a nap, and they were supposed to be napping, I guess. And but they did a whole lot of watching over those little ones, the big alpha male and the big alpha female. They watched over the little ones all the time. I never seen the alpha male have to get on to any of them at that point, but that came later on, about year 4, because in year 4 they added some more Bigfoot to their clan. I don't know if it was extended family or if it was other Bigfoot that they had accepted into their clan or what, but they did a lot of family oriented stuff, and a couple of times late in the evening I saw smoke coming out of the cave. Now I'm not sure if they built fire, but I dare to say that they do know how to use fire. So it was an experience to watch those Bigfoot, and it was fun to watch them because I was learning about them, about how they interact with each other and how they deal with each other. Now they didn't have a lot of issues. There wasn't a lot of things that went on. But come the end of that year, when it got into the winter, they disappeared for about 3 months. I didn't see them all in December, January, or February. I guess they may have went to Florida, where I'm at, or they went somewhere else. It could have been a Bigfoot gathering they went to. I don't know. But they were gone for 3 months. Never saw them coming in and out of the cave. And I went over in January and went in the cave and didn't go very far because they had placed some rather large logs in there. And sorry about that. They placed some very large logs to block anybody from going in there. You'd had to have been a Bigfoot to move them. I mean, they were pretty good sized logs, 300-400 pounds apiece. And it was kind of sucked because I really wanted to go and find out if they were using fire, but I couldn't get in there to find out. And I went around that mountain quite a bit, and evidently that cave didn't have a second opening. But anyway, they did a lot of things together. They would eat together. In the evenings, the 2 males would sit out front and eat. And, I mean, they would just and rip the meat off if they were eating deer legs or eating deer meat. I've never seen them cut up meat. I don't know if the females would rip pieces off and feed the young. I don't know, because I didn't get to see the little ones at that time very much. And they always seem to make sure they had more than enough food, because there were times that both of the females would leave, and when they come back, they both had armfuls of plants, acorns, and hickory nuts, and all that stuff. And now I don't know for sure if they had acorns and hickories, but they had a bunch of nuts. It could have been walnuts, as far as I know, because they didn't give seed a whole lot. But they made sure they had all kinds of stuff when they came back. and it was always taken into the cave. So they kept themselves fed really good. I've never seen them want for anything. And it was an experience to watch them. They started to accept me being there and not throwing a fit. And so I figured I'd give you a little bit on what year 2 was and let you know a little bit more about year 1. And if you got questions, like what sizes they were, what the color they were. The big male was a black. The big female, she was auburn colored, reddish brown. And the other female, she was a, let me see, she was more brown than she was anything else. I noticed sometimes that when she was out in the sunlight, it seemed like the color would change somewhat. And the other male, it was strange because neither one of the big ones were this color, and he was almost like a sand color, like a wet sand. And not the white sand like you see on the beach, but like the sand at the bottom of a river or something like that. That was his color. It wasn't a dark brown, but it wasn't a light brown. It was kind of in between. And he, like I said, he wasn't real big. He wasn't probably more than about 7 foot tall, 7.5 foot tall. So I'd say he was probably fairly young. He could have been the male child of the two alphas, but he started developing after carrying water all summer. I noticed late in the fall he was starting to bulk up and muscle, and he was doing a lot of walking up and over the mountain and going down and getting water. And he would go out and late in the evening he would leave with the big male, and the 2 females would stay there. The one female would stay near the entrance, and the big female would walk in and out. But there was a few times that I noticed that him and the younger male and the big alpha male, they would go out, and then when I would come back in a day or 2 or 3 days or 4 days, because I try to get there at least twice a week, that they would have deer meat. So I think they were going out hunting late in the evening for deer. And I seen them eating raccoon. I've seen them eat turkey in the second year and deer. I don't know if they would catch little squirrels and stuff like that. But I seen them eat those 3 things in that year. And it was multiple times with deer, but I seen them eat raccoons a couple times, and which they could have been, but turkey, when they would get turkey, it seemed like they kind of relished the thought of turkey, because evidently they liked the taste of turkey a lot, or at least the big alpha male did. He loved turkey. You could tell when he would get turkey, he would rip the breast off, and he'd eat the whole one side of the breast by himself. So they usually had 2 or 3, and that way everybody else could get something, because he could eat one by himself. But it was always fun to watch him, because he would play with the little ones like I played, and probably like you played with your children or grandchildren. Wrestle around with them, let them crawl all over him, get up on his shoulders, and they would pat him on the head, and he would give him, and then this was strange. He didn't kiss them, but he would lean down and sniff them or snort at them or something, and they would just giggle or make little noises, and they seemed to think it was funny what he was doing, that or he was tickling them in some way. But I hope y'all enjoy this. We got 3 more years to go, and in year 3, some big changes started happening with the clan. In year 4, they added some more, and then in year 5 was when I lost track of them because they moved. And we'll get all into that at a later time, and I hope y'all enjoy this. And y'all be careful out there. If you're in a bad weather area, look out for it, and may God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.